Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And I think we have a lot to say
Oh yeah,
for the
definitely.
tweets. Oh
It
man,
was good though. I liked the episode. But we learned quite a bit in this one.
we did. It was more like, I don't know, I guess more now that we know the stuff with Yuki in last week's episode, this everything kind of makes sense, and you're just like, ooh, Kyo. If only
Yeah.
you knew.
I like the fact that even Yuki admits like, oh, they're totally in love with each other. Like you can see it. Like you can see how they look at each other. Which I'm like, damn, if Yuki can see that, then
Everyone can
it's
see it.
pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, except like to them.
Kyo
Well, I mean,
knows his feelings.
Kyo's aware of his feelings, but he like tries not to actually show it because to him it's like pointless at this point in time. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like he's doing it like from afar or within, like loving her and stuff. And Toru's just still really confused.
She's still unaware.
But like if Yuki can tell when she looks at Kyo, like, oh no, there's like something there. She just is like very unaware.
She still needs some digging to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, she really doesn't have any time to kind of think about it herself because she's worrying about everybody else, which is what Yuki says, like, she's always worrying about everybody else and putting others first. That's also why he felt like she was like a motherly figure to him, because she's always putting everybody first, like a mother would. I like that he's very open about it with Manabe. Like, Manabe's like, dude, are you sure you're just
He's
not like confused? He's like, because some people like look for their like girlfriend or future wife or whatever, like sometimes people look for someone who's like their mom. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't think Yuki's looking for somebody who's like his mom, but I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. Manabe has a good point, but Yuki's very like firm in his beliefs and like what he feels. Like he's like, no, I just love her like I would love like a mother or like like a really good friend, I guess, too. But then he tells him, like, in terms of like these other feelings, like actual romantic love and other stuff, like I want to figure that out for myself and kind of have those feelings like happen on their own and just have me discover them without having to be pushed into it.
Yeah, because he was saying how he felt kind of forced, and he was just like forcing himself to feel
Yeah.
that way, even though he knew deep down inside that no, that's not what this is.
Yeah, like he was saying like, well, I tried to be like, how a man would treat a woman or whatever, how a person would treat a person romantically. And he's like, I was trying my best to kind of like go along with what everybody wanted me to, how, because everybody thinks they would be really cute together or whatever, like, oh no, treat her, come on, Yuki, she's a pretty girl, kind of stuff like that. And he's just kind of like, but like deep down I knew that wasn't really how I felt, even though I was trying to also tell myself, no, that's what it is. But he's come to his own conclusion, like,
She's more like family than a
yeah,
romantic interest.
yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, because he says, like, he still says she's a precious person to him, must be protected at all cost. But it's more in terms of like, like, you're right, because when he was saying that, I was thinking about like, oh yeah, that's how I feel about my mom. Like, my mom's very precious to me. I want her to be happy. Like, she's probably first and foremost, one of the people in my life that I want to be happy. Because he even says like, I want you to be happy the most. So I'm like, damn, that's pretty deep, man.
Dude, the visual where it's literally Momiji on the floor, and then it
Yeah,
switches to
it's just to
Yuki. I was
Yuki.
like,
Uh,
goddamn.
yeah,
Which again, that scene brought me back to the ED,
yeah.
the first ED man. I'm like, God fucking damn it! They were like showing us since the first
Oh yeah, they
ED.
were definitely foreshadowing. Because
I
they could do that now, since they're doing the whole manga. Like, they have more of a range of things to show you way before they're supposed to happen. Because I also feel like that's, one, it's just good foreshadowing, like, in general. Where now you're calling back to like the ED from the first season, and you're like, oh my god, they were like telling me exactly what was gonna happen, and I didn't even know. And then like for manga readers, it's like, hey, that's like foreshadowing. I can't wait to see that in the far, far future. And now that it's like happening, it's like, it's great. I think they have more material to work with, so they can kind of like manipulate it in ways to where we're really getting like a sense of what they're going to show us and what it's going to talk about in the future, like as the show goes on. And like it's just really good to see, because when you think about like the original series, you're like, there was none of that in that show. It's just like, oh, it was just a cute like 26 episode thing, and that was it. I never imagined that they were ever gonna reboot it, since the manga ended like years ago. I'm hopeful that like other like older series like that maybe got like an old anime adaptation or something can also like get this like really good reboot treatment that Fruits Basket is getting, with like the foreshadowing and all this great stuff. But I really like what they're doing. I like that you can call back to things you remember seeing like back in season, because there's parts in this episode where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that in season 1 when they first started living together, and he's talking about like she was just some girl in a tent. Oh, how naive we were, and now we're here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
I guess with Manabe and Yuki is what I want to talk about, like at the very end, before what the fuck is this chick's name?
Oh, her name is Kimi. That's her name.
There we go. It's, like before she comes along, I like how both Manabe and Yuki were acting like super, like one brain cell, where they were just like kicking the ball to each other, like very, very.
Yeah, they were acting like 10-year-olds.
Like little kids, yeah. Just I think it's the first time we actually see Yuki like that, like act like so
like
carefree.
He was acting like a kid. Like he was very comfortable with like like clearly we know he's comfortable talking to Manabe because he told him this huge secret that he's never told anyone before. So he was being very comfortable and vulnerable and open and like relaxed. Like you can tell this is how he probably should be, in terms of like when he's really relaxed around someone, he can be kind of more playful and more like childish.
And this is exactly what Hatsuharu was hoping for, man. He would be proud.
I know, I'm surprised he wasn't watching from afar.
I know. Like that's the whole time I saw that whole thing happening, I was like, Hatsuharu would be proud right now.
Yeah.
He'd be so happy. So they definitely share a really nice bond so far. And I like to see it progress, man. It's getting really cute. I like their friendship. Speaking of Manabe, Machi, my dear, I was really shook when she called Yuki that because some random girl, I guess from her class, was like, "Oh, you like isn't he like a prince?"
She's like, "I'm so mad that you're not the prince in the play. Isn't that terrible, Machi? Don't you think he would be the best prince?" And Machi just straight up says, "No, I don't think so. He's not like, a prince."
No, she's like, "I know who he is." And no, I was like,
she just walks away. But then you see the look on his face, and you're like, oh, the heavens open up, and I'm like, no, he's like really interested now, because that's the first time anyone has ever said that he's not a prince.
Because he said it before. He's like, I'm not like a prince, like constantly always telling everybody, no, not like a prince. You guys have me all wrong. And finally someone is like, yeah, no, he's an all
understands.
All that.
And then you see the wind blow, and I even said it's the winds of change. It's the winds of change happening. I was like, oh, we have the beginnings of a new relationship.
It's starting, man. It's
now
starting.
Now he's very interested. You could tell on his face he was like, oh my god, like what? This girl just like actually understood me.
Something that he's like, always wanted.
Yeah, he's like, oh, whoa.
Which makes me very excited, man, to see how this is all gonna go down.
Like, I mean, it's not gonna be without some crazy drama, but it's very sweet, I will say.
It's happening naturally, man.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I like in these kinds of like relationships and stuff, because like if they just kind of walked into it blindly without knowing anything about each other, like it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be like a good slow burn kind of thing. Like them kind of actually getting to know each other and figuring each other out and being very open about each other, like how Machi was like in this episode, just kind of speaking her mind and being like, I don't think he's like that at all. Just be very like nonchalant about it. That's what kind of like gets their interests piqued. Like now he really wants to learn more about her. So like now we can tell that he's gonna kind of focus in on that and like pursue that till he finds out more, if she will let him.
And that's about it with Yuki. The next parts with Yuki has to do with Kyo.
Oh yeah.
Because now after learning everything with Yuki, you see things in a different perspective, and you're just like, Kyo, why are you being like this, man? Like,
I
why?
know it's kind of frustrating because it's like, why can't you guys just talk to each other? Like, why won't you just like? Because now we know that Yuki doesn't want to fight Kyo like ever at all. He's even admitted like, yeah, I admired him. You know,
I want to be friends.
I wanted to be friends with him and everything. Like he's not looking to like start fights. Kyo's the one who's always like the instigator or the aggressor, like because that's Kyo's personality. Like he's just very blunt about everything, like very upfront, especially with people he already doesn't like. So he has like no filter. He doesn't think before he says or does anything when it comes to Yuki. But I mean, if they just kind of talked it out and listened to each other, that's why this whole conversation I was like Yuki, just like tell him. Just say how you actually feel.
They're not ready yet.
But yeah, they're not ready to have a conversation like that. So we have to wait for the truth to be known. But I mean, you could kind of see maybe a little bit there when like Yuki turned around and you could see Kyo's reaction, like, oh my gosh. But we still don't kind of like I don't think we're gonna understand what that look meant until later. Because Kyo still just got mad and was like, okay, well, whatever, I'm leaving.
He, like, punched the freaking window. Which I'm like, how hard did he punch that window? Like, goddamn.
Or those windows are very flimsy.
That too.
They're not... I mean, they're probably not meant to be open, so... Or they're very sturdy and he just punched it really hard. Because I'm sure he wanted to punch Yuki, but didn't. Held himself back.
Yeah.
At least he holds himself back in that regard. He doesn't actually want, like, get physical. Because Kyo knows how to defend himself. Obviously, like, you know, he goes to a dojo and everything, but I feel like he more uses that, like, as protection for, like, just in case. Like, if it's just an argument like this, he's not actually going to get physically violent with somebody. Even if it's Yuki, like, he can make threats and stuff, like, okay, well, then you want me to, like, beat you up or something, but I don't think he would actually go through with it. Like, deep down, Kyo's not really, like, a physical violence kind of person. I feel like him doing martial arts and stuff, that just kind of like gives him an outlet to, you know, get his anger out, you know, which is something that a lot of people do when they take martial arts and stuff. He can kind of just like make threats because that's just his personality. Like he's already kind of like scary or like off-putting, so he doesn't actually have to use his fists, but I feel like he also does it like learns all that stuff just in case. Also, you know, so he can protect the people he loves. I'm sure he, like, in his head, he really wanted to punch Yuki, but decided not to, so he just punched the window instead. Also, because he probably would have gotten in trouble.
I mean, he's still gonna get in trouble for the window.
True, he's probably gonna get in trouble for that, but, I mean, I feel like you'd rather get in trouble for damaging school property than damaging another student, especially if you're related to them. That conversation was because he really kind of like gave it to him. Like Kyo really let him know how he really was feeling like this whole time.
He was basically saying, you have everything that I've ever wanted, so like what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, like screw you. Even though I was like in the back of my head like, no, you're wrong, that's not true, if only you knew. You guys are very similar. He doesn't have all that stuff. It's not what it looks like.
Yuki's was more hidden. His was hidden from, like, the public eye versus Kyo. It was, like, full display. Everybody knows.
Yeah, he really let him have it. And that was after Yuki brought up, like, oh, hey, Tohru has the hat. I don't think I should. Do you want me to still give it back to you? Like, should I even try to give it back to you? And Kyo's just like, what?
Yeah, it's obvious that we're probably gonna see more of that, like get Kyo's side of the story with all this stuff happening, because Kyo just kind of walks away and he gets super annoyed and angry for whatever reasons that I don't know. Nobody spoil me because this is all I got through.
I know. I won't say anything. I won't spoil this for you.
Because I don't know what to think, because I'm just like, what's going through his mind? Because it's kind of like, not that I don't understand where Kyo's coming from, but he's more like, I guess it's more like his anger is getting to him, where I'm like, okay, but like, where's this anger coming from specifically? Why is it like this? I can take a guess, maybe it's from Akito, everything that's built up over the years, everyone saying all this crap to him, but at the same time, it's like, why is it the fucking hat that triggers him so much?
Because reasons.
I know. Reasons that I don't know, but I Guess we'll find out later. Besides them, we also got some very cute moments between Kyo and Tohru.
Oh yes.
That was really cute because you can tell Kyo is definitely like super comfortable around Tohru, and it's just like so natural, and it's so adorable to see, like with the whole thing with the script, and he was
Yeah.
acting like a little kid, like picking on like the girl that he likes. That's kind of how it felt, but even Tohru was like in on it, which was like the cutest thing ever until, you know, Yuki came in and he was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" He gets all embarrassed.
Sorry to interrupt, but can I please get by? Because you don't know what she's like worrying about. You just see like the food being prepared, and you're like, "Oh, what's wrong? Like, what is she? Did she like mess the food up or something?" And like she's like, "No," she's freaking out about her lines.
You see her on the floor with Shigure with the script, and then fucking Shigure, of course, would be laughing his ass off over Kyo being the prince. He's like, "Oh, now I definitely have to
He's
go."
like, "I have to go see the play now."
Poor Kyo is like, "Nobody, tell my dad, please."
Yeah, he's like, "Please don't tell
and then
him."
Toto's like,
Just like, He's like, "You bet you need
You're-
to. You have to swear like right now. Like, tell me to my face that you're not gonna tell him."
you know she's gonna invite
Oh
him.
yeah, of course. She's totally gonna invite him. But it was very nice to see, like, because again, she's really confused about her feelings, but you can tell that she really like does care, because she was, when they kind of decided like, oh well, we can just rewrite the script to like help
Yeah.
everybody out. She was like, well, can you also like rewrite the prince so it's like easier for Kyo to like play the character, because it's really hard for him. And then even Yuki is like, yeah, that's probably why he's not here. Because you guys would just make fun of him.
Which then turns into like this really cute moment at the end, which I thought was like so stinking cute. I felt like Toto was really close to like figuring out
Yeah.
her feelings. Like you can tell like she was really close when Kyo just is like, "Okay, fine," and just that moment where he's just like, lets go of everything,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "Fine, I'll do it." And he just sounds so soft, and I'm just like, ah, that's so cute.
Cause he can tell, like, oh, she really worked hard to, like, get this rewritten for me. And she waited. She's the last one there waiting for him. And he's like, where did everybody else go? She's like, oh, everybody went home. I was just waiting for you. And he's like, oh my god.
He thinks about Yuki's words.
Yeah. What Yuki told him earlier. And then he even thinks, like, so what were you thinking about while you were waiting
This
for
whole
me?
time.
Like, I wonder what you were thinking about. Like, yeah, no, this boy totally in love. If he's thinking about what she was thinking about while she was just waiting for him, he's pretty super into her. And then, like, you know, he puts his head on her shoulder and everything, and she's just kind of like, okay.
She's so
this is
flustered.
happening. And then, like, when he pulls away, like, she's like blushing super hard. And even then she's like, oh my god, your hand's all messed up. And he's like, whatever, don't worry about it.
Always worrying about Kyo.
Yeah, but it's good that he's kind of like, well, I guess I'll do it for her. She waited for me and got them to rewrite it for me, so I might as well do it. Plus, she probably won't stop bugging him if he does it anyway, so
Very cute overall, man.
it'll be interesting to see what their play looks like.
So for next week's episode, head over to Mia's channel if you guys want to hear our thoughts, I should say, on everything that happens next week, because I have no idea what to expect, but I am excited.
Me too. I can't remember what happens. I say that all the time, but like I really do mean it. Like I need to reread the manga. It's been so very long. So forgive me if that like if you hear me say that like every single week, but I really can't remember like too many of the little details. I just remember the big story beats and who ends up with who and everything. That's all for me.
How do you outro? I don't know why. I'm just like, anyways, you guys, it's late. That's why my mind's probably just blanking out right now.
It's late.
But as I said earlier, head over to Mia's channel if you guys want to find out what we have to say next week. And with that, we will see you guys over on her channel next week. And hope you guys are staying safe and healthy out there. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.